So, hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. I hope the audio is now somewhat synced, or at least a little tiny bit better than it was before. I don't still know why there was the case, why it is the case that the audio is a bit delayed. I do understand, bit rates differ, video and audio and whatnot, but this shouldn't actually be such a big issue. And I've never had such a big issue with recording and just making sure that everything's fine. Anyway, while I'm recording this episode for tomorrow, I'm actually gonna edit the one that I've recorded just before with the bad audio, meaning I'm just trying to be efficient, and I was just trying to make tomorrow a bit easier, so that I can indeed maybe do it the same thing tomorrow as well. While I am working, I can record something. I do actually enjoy it. I think it is interesting, as long as I have something rather smart to talk about. Maybe this can't be the case, can it? Well, I don't know. Because I have indeed changed the resolution of my display, because from time to time it is actually just a little tiny bit too big, It is what it is. At least for Windows, I don't know. But let's talk about something Stoicism related. Is it recording? Yes, it is. Everything is fine. So I'm gonna go to Reddit, and I do understand that you can't see anything, just me, myself, and I. And have I set up Reddit yet? No, I haven't. So we're gonna stick with whatever we're gonna find. Stoicism is a school of philosophy, not a quick fix. My teapot broke today. This is gonna probably about, the case and or the thing that, according to Stoicism, and I think it is also actually a pretty great thought and a pretty interesting thought, according to Stoicism, everything that we have is borrowed. Our body is borrowed. People that we're talking to are borrowed. And I think, at first, as you're thinking about it and whatnot, it might be a bit, interesting, to just formulate it in a very, conscious way, maybe. The thing is, if you see it in that light, I think it is also just more understandable and more quote-unquote okay when you lose somebody or when you lose something. Well, I've just given it back again. It wasn't mine anyway. I've just given it back. I've had it for quite some time, but I do need to understand that it is just borrowed. It is not something that is going to be here eternally. Also, not this bottle that I'm having here. Even though it is plastic and it's probably gonna just take a long time to decay. Maybe I'm gonna lose it. Maybe it's gonna break. Maybe I'm gonna break it. Because of whatever reason. It is what it is. And this is something that you cannot necessarily change. You can't do something about that. Of course, you can be, very conscious. You can make sure that you're not losing anything. But in the end, it is what it is. In the end, if you lose something, if you lose someone, hopefully not due to death, but rather, through a decision or because of a decision, then, you have given this person back. You have just, it's not your own now. Maybe I can actually find Stoicism and borrowing. This is not how you write. Borrowing wisdom from others. This life is borrowed. Guess by what Reddit it is. Yes, the Stoicism subreddit. It is strange that we sometimes believe we deserve certain things, or we are owed them by the world. We have already been given a body with consciousness. We are already in debt to the universe, a debt which all of us will pay off eventually. Thank you for this. There is also a quote. He walked out in the grey light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world, the cold, relentless circling of the interstate earth, darkness implacable, the blind dogs of the sun in their running, the crushing black vacuum of the universe, and somewhere two haunted animals trembling like ground focus in their cover, borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it. View entire discussion, can I? The last thing my friend told his mother before we left for Afghanistan was she needed to remember, I am only borrowed to you. It didn't come back to her. Always be wary of people that say they or anyone else deserves anything. Couldn't agree with this more. This was the hardest pill to swallow when my infant son died, but I did it. You guys have helped me more than you have ever known. Apart from things like human rights and stuff, yeah, those people often behave very entitled. Best to avoid them in order to avoid headaches and unnecessary conflicts. I look at it like borrowing your buddy's car. You can move the mirrors and the seat, but you can't make any real changes. You accept that in that scenario, life is the same way. You have to accept certain things because you're not entitled to change them. I think this is actually a very, very great analogy. Is it a metaphor? No, I think it is actually indeed an analogy. It is just a car you borrowed. Your body is a car you borrowed. You know, you can change certain things, you have certain influence over certain things, but you can't change the car. It is still the same car, you know? No matter how much you change, it is still the same car. Of course, you can make it more beautiful. Of course, you can just add something to it, you can modify it. And it's the same with your body, you know. Your body per se, the just ground structure, you know, the the foundation of your body, it is going to be the same, you know, which is, you know, probably your DNA or something. This is just going to be the same, you know, no matter what. No matter how much you would actually like to change it, this is... Well, congratulations, I just ended the episode. But I just realized that indeed I might be fucking it up right now as well. Might just only be due to my Play software here on fucking Windows that is just making this delay happen. Anyway, coming back to the whole boring thing, the whole car analogy. The fundamental of your body is borrowed, and it is what it is. You know, you can't change your DNA. Maybe at some point we can, but you know, should we? This is also another different thing that we could be talking about. But well, I don't know. I am indeed very much struggling with the whole borrowing thing. I've never actually seen it as something too great, but you know, thinking about the car analogy, which actually can help with just being okay with how things are, because you can't change it anyway. You have borrowed it, you know, as you have borrowed a car, and you can't change it. You know, you can't do something about this car that you have gotten from your body or body. Yes, okay. You can't save here. Please choose another location. Why can't I? Don't understand why. Anyway. The thing is, since you can't do anything about it, you can just only modify it to a certain degree. Why doesn't it actually work like I want it to? I don't understand. You can just do your best to, you know, to let this car run as smoothly as you can. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. No, I'm not gonna do so. Just gonna deal with that now, because I'm so smart, and also export something in the background. Very good idea, you know, extremely good idea. Do the best with your body, do the best with your mind as you can. Foundational things, you can't change them, you have to live with them. It is what it is, but yeah. After reading about the people in North Korea that had to survive on eating grasshoppers and places throughout the world that don't have clean water, third world countries that have no opportunity to grow and improve, I'm grateful to live in a country that I have opportunity. You know, and this is as well, I think. First of all, being grateful and, well, actually, first of all, having perspective, and second of all, being grateful for having that perspective and living the life that you have. I very often get caught up in seeing the negative, being very pessimistic, and also just not being as happy as I should be. And yes, this is a lot of pressure, and I am just giving also myself a lot of pressure. You know, I need to be happy. I should be happy. There is no singular fucking reason why I shouldn't be. Of course, there are certain things that are bothering me. Of course, there are certain things that I dislike about things. But first of all, my life is amazing compared to some other people's life. This is also one of the reasons why I think that comparing yourself to somebody else or one situation where it is sensible and where it is actually not that bad. But anyway, another discussion for another day. But of course it is difficult sometimes. Of course it is difficult sometimes in the midst of life to see that it is actually not that bad. And to see that things are actually quite well. And you are doing quite well as well. Of course, things that I was struggling with in the very recent times was my breakup. My breakup that actually happened a fucking year ago. But I should be happy for living that life that I have. For having the opportunities that I have. For actually fucking being alive. Seeing things with my own eyes, being healthy, having accomplished some things in my life. You know, having the opportunity and the possibility to exist. To do something with my life, I don't know. There's always a way, and there's always a perspective of pessimisticity or pessimism, negativity, and bad things. There's always a way you can choose that. But on the other hand, there's also always a way to choose the complete opposite, which is positivity and just seeing things in a good light. Well, of course, I'm stressed out. I have a lot of things to do today, but guess what? Could be worse. Could be laying in hospital. I could be that ill. Could have cancer. Maybe I have, who knows? But up to this point, I don't know that I'm having certain issues, you know? We shouldn't get caught up in life that much, and, you know, possibly also one of the reasons why I do like the podcast so much, because only because of this right now, I'm realizing it once again, and I'm having to talk about it once again, and I'm having to think about it once again. Also, when it comes to maybe some other things that might be bothering you, like, okay, you haven't gotten for Christmas what you wanted to have or wanted to get. Well, is this fatal? Is this detrimental? Is this something that you're gonna die because of? No. Are you still having a great life? Fucking yes. But there is always a way to see the bad things. Well, today as well, I'm also hungry. I'm actually pretty tired. I do not really know if I'm just gonna be able to do all the things that I wanted to do today. I don't know if I'm gonna accomplish all the things that I wanted to accomplish today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out today. Is tomorrow gonna be another day? Yes, it is. I don't know. Is it still sometimes really hard for me to be positive and be happy? You know, besides the fact, or just even though I know that my life is amazing, yes, it is. Because small things are there, and I get caught up by them. But I think also coming back to something that I read, I do not really know if I've said it, but Stoicism being some sort of a guideline, not necessarily like the overall structure your life should be like, you know, just, you know, picking those things that serve you and just, you know, leaving those things that do not, but really carefully considering what things serve you and what not. Well, period. You know, let's see if there's something else. It's not strange that is what every animal is like. Animals don't really believe they have the rights to anything, but they sure act like it. We humans just take it to the extreme. I don't think I deserve anything really, but I disagree that I'm in debt to anything either. I meant in debt in the sense that we all must eventually give our lives back. We cannot keep them forever. Yeah, this is something that one has to think about as well and has to accept as well. Life is gonna end, things are gonna end, and well, it is what it is, I guess. You can't change it anyway, you can't deal with it anyway. I'm Muslim and we have a similar outlook on life. Nothing belongs to us, it is only a favor from God that we can give/take as He pleases. So stay grateful, because it is what will keep you humble. Like the other comment said, I was referring to death. It is the ultimate debt that we all must eventually pay, even if we are able to prolong our lives. No debts in the sense that a deal is made, rather than the concept of entropy over time. All of this will decay. Thank you for this reminder. Just because we have them doesn't mean it is something that should be left behind. We have these things because we deserve them. It is cause and effect. Life itself is much deeper than we think, but someday we must leave all these behind. We don't owe anything to anyone. Well, I think just in general, the whole conversation is about understanding that you, at every point of time, can lose everything that you have. Your health, your looks, yourself, your life, basically, somebody else, something else, period. You can lose everything that you have, everything that quote unquote belongs to you, everything that you have therefore borrowed, because from time to time things are what they are, and you're gonna lose certain things. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna end the episode there. I do hope that you've gotten something out of it, and I'm gonna see you the next time. So bye bye.